The late, great Jim Rohn called it taking a personal inventory. Today, after 115 episodes, I'm taking a personal inventory of the podcast, some of the key messages that I've heard, some of the messages I think are really important to reiterate for all of you, some of the patterns, and I want to share those with you today. I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport, as I see it, is to see your vision become a reality, find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. So well over 100 episodes now, and I'm starting to see some patterns emerge. I wonder if you have as well. There are some common themes that obviously I'm talking about, a lot of the similar things from different contexts, but even the guests are starting to see some patterns there. One of the important things that a lot of them talk about, if not all, is having a vision. If you want to have any level of growth and improvement, improve your performance, then you have to have a clear vision, not just a vague idea of where you're heading, but crystal clear. Have that detail about what you want your future to look like in whatever area you are working on. And why it's important to have a vision is because it becomes another one of your GPS systems. It's not having the vision doesn't mean you're locked into a certain way, doesn't mean you're locked into a path, but it means you've got that flag in the future that will allow you to make the decisions that will take you towards that vision. Now, sometimes the goalposts move. That's for a number of different reasons. Maybe you realize you're heading down the wrong path. Maybe you realize you're capable of more. Maybe you have different things that come your way that help you realize that you're probably heading in the wrong direction. But it's the person you need to become to work towards that vision that's so important. To know, have that clarity, to know what it is that you actually want at any given time allows you to know the steps you'll need to take to get there. But what it also does at a subconscious level, it creates a level of behavior within you that will take you forward to that. So everything that you do will start to align to that future vision. You'll find yourself creating opportunities. It'll feel like things are falling into your lap because you've given that subconscious part of your brain a clear focus on what you want it to focus on, what you want to filter everything else out and have that clear focus on that particular vision that you've got. And then it's like tailoring your social media feed to just the things you want to see. But instead, it's doing that for like all areas of life, filtering out the crap, letting in the good stuff. And it's amazing what will unfold when you've got that clear vision. The other one that I've heard, again, I reckon pretty close to every guest has talked about how valuable it is to know what your values are and to be able to live with them. It's another GPS. It's another navigation system for your life. Because if you're living against your values, you're not going to be getting the joy out of life. You're not going to be getting the fulfillment out of life. It means that you're letting people come across your boundaries. It means you're doing things you don't really want to be doing. You're living in a way that is not aligned to who the sort of person you want to be or the sort of people that you want around you. And so it's such a valuable piece because it takes a lot of the emotion out and it becomes that way of being able to navigate conversations and bringing people together and realizing the sort of people that maybe aren't right for you. And also, if you have your values as actions, then you know how to live. You know how you want to behave, and you've got a guide on how to actually do that. We talk about performance. Having those values allows you to have success measures along the way, and so you know you're tracking the right direction. It has so many layers to it, so powerful, and yet so underutilized. And some people, you might have experienced that. You go into businesses and they've got values on a wall, but they're not being lived. usually because they don't know how to live them. They don't have the action statements, and they're just not being lived. So it's important to have that in place, whether that's you as an individual, as an organization, as a family, whatever it is. And the best bit from a family perspective, it's like, we've all agreed to these values and we've all agreed to these behaviors. Just redirect someone. You can take the emotion out of a lot of those family conversations. It's just redirecting to the values. Pretty powerful. And probably the most critical skill that has been repeated by a lot of the guests is that importance of self-awareness. You need to know who you are. You need to know how you are carrying yourself, and to be aware when you're doing things, saying things, being the sort of person that you don't want to be. But sometimes you can be drifting along in life, oblivious, and you know those people, they got no self-awareness. And you also know there's different times in your life where you've probably drifted into that space too, where you're just kind of carrying on, living day to day, and losing touch of what's most important. And that self-awareness piece allows you to identify when things aren't going as they should, and then to be curious and sometimes challenge yourself about what you're doing and how you could do things differently and whether you could be doing things better. But it starts with self-awareness. If you're not taking that time to sit in your own space and just think, how was today? How was I today? How did I show up? What could I have done differently? What could I have done better? What did I already do well? How am I tracking towards that vision? And as I've mentioned many, many times before on here, that's why a journal can be so powerful, because you can actually, by gathering your thoughts, recording them, then that self-awareness becomes stronger because you're building that muscle every day by writing it down, by keeping track of your success, your challenges, and all parts of you. So there's 3 big lessons from the first 116 episodes or 115 episodes before this one. I'd love to hear what your biggest lesson's been. That's what I've got so far. You might have seen your own patterns. Would love to hear from you. Message me, hit me up on socials, or send me an email, info@ianhawkinscoaching.com. Speak to you next time. You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.